Hello students, welcome back to the special series on CAT with Careers 360. In today's video, I'm going to take up the arithmetic concepts. Before I talk about arithmetic, I think you should know that among all the topics, all the area, all the things that come in CAT quantitative ability, arithmetic alone can give you the much needed 90 plus percentile. Frankly, if you do all the questions that come in arithmetic in the CAT exam and forget about everything else like algebra, geometry, everything else, you probably can get even 99 percentile. But the problem is, not everybody can do it unless their concepts in this particular area are completely clear in that sense. So in this video, I'm going to take you through, okay, everybody talks about arithmetic. What are the things that are there in arithmetic? What are the topics that are there in arithmetic? And what are the concepts which are there in arithmetic that you, when you're preparing for CAT and or writing the CAT exam, have to be very, very good at. Okay? So let's look at the broad topics that are there in this particular area. First, ratios and proportion, percentages, profit and loss. If I just look at these three, if the CAT has 22 questions, you can broadly expect about 8 to 11 questions in this area itself. Of these 8 to 11, 3 to 4 questions are in ratios, percentages, profit and loss. They are absolutely basics. Your 6th class, 7th class, 8th class. These are the areas. I'm sure you guys have passed your 8th and 7th and 8th, 9th, 10th classes. You know what you have done in your school is what comes in. And even the questions are not difficult at all. And then areas like simple interest, compound interest, averages and mixtures and alligation, time and work of course, and the dreaded time, speed and distance. This completes your arithmetic. 7 topics. Each of these topics you can expect at least one question, maybe 2 questions or 3 questions in like a time and work, or for that matter percentages will kind of make up your 10 to 11 questions that come in CAT. Let's take one by one. What are the key concepts? They're all similar concepts, guys. The only way to become better is A, learn the concept, and B, apply these concepts. In fact, this is where I kind of talk about CAT as such. There is a concept for C, application for doing exercises, and once you know the concept and you have applied CA, you need to do the T, and that is test yourself. So let's look at what are the areas that you need to be really good at in this very important topic called arithmetic. First and foremost, if I look at all the topics and look at the number of concepts that are there in each, I can list down that ratio and proportion has 5, percentages has only 3, profit and loss has again 3, in fact very similar of them. Simple interest, compound interest 4, averages, mixtures 3, time and work about 6. Actually time and work is there only 1, but then we've kind of elongated, spread it across and say, oh, there are so many types of choices or so many types of concepts. And lastly, time, speed and distance. Even time, speed and distance, I'm writing here that there are 7 concepts. But if you really ask me, there is just one concept. Distance is equal to speed into time, or speed is distance by time. That is the only concept, but in various areas it is manifested itself into. In other words, there are just 31 concepts. And each concept, I'm using the word concept, it could be a formula for that matter. So if one formula or one concept will take you 30 minutes to work on, like for example, let me take a simple example. I'm going to showcase that in the next slide, but still I want you to look at it. Let's say there is something called percentage increase. Now there are lots of questions which come in percentage increase or percentage decrease. What is that? Final value minus initial value by the initial value. This is the concept. Now for you to understand this concept, know this concept and apply this concept, you might take maybe 6 to 10 questions I want you to solve. 6 to 10 questions, one concept will take you not more than 30 minutes. 31 such concepts of whole of arithmetic can be completely done in 15 hours flat. Frankly, friends, if you're listening to this video, you need to realize this. The only reason people don't crack the CAT exam is not because the paper is difficult or the questions are difficult or the entire syllabus is difficult. It is because you don't do it in a very, very organized, systematic manner. So 15 hours is all that takes for you to crack these concepts. But now I'm going to go a little more into depth in figuring out, hey, what are these 31 concepts, so that if you're listening to this video, I want you to make a note of it in your own notebooks or white sheets of paper, and based on each of the types of questions, solve about 6 to 10 questions at least. Where will you solve this from? I am not even saying that you need to go to any funda books, etc. kind of things. 20 mocks Careers 360 is giving you for free. From these mocks itself, you can get these kind of questions. And if you revise them not once, maybe twice or even thrice, I think you will be absolutely prepared when you go to the actual exam. Let's look at, therefore, without much ado, what are these concepts. So I'm going to talk about the first three: ratios, proportion, variation, percentage profit and loss, and SICI. In ratios, proportions and variations, the first thing you need to understand is what is a ratio. If you say A by B or A is to B is a ratio, for example 2:3. If that is a ratio, a number like 4 and 6 will also be in the same ratio as 2:3. 6 and 9 also in the same ratio of 2:3. So understanding that, okay, a ratio of two numbers in whatever ratio, let's say small a is to small b, is equal to some constant kind of things. So the actual two numbers a and b could be some k times of a and a k times of b, because you are removing both the constant in the numerator and the denominator. So that is what is ratio. What I'm saying is, this is the understanding that I want you to have. Or what is a componendo and dividendo? If a by b is there, a plus b by a minus b is equal to a by b. That is another componendo and dividendo choice. Or what is a proportion? What is direct proportion? What is indirect proportion? Or a basic variation. Understanding these and solving, like I said, 4 or 5 concepts in that, and if you solve, let's say 30 questions in that or 40 questions in that in, let's say, 2.5 hours from the previous year's question paper, I think this particular topic you will be comfortable with. Similarly, let's look at percentage, profit and loss. What is there in percentages? There is a percentage increase or decrease concept. What is a percentage itself is a concept. Then successive percentages is a concept. Successive percentage increase or a decrease is a concept. Similarly, profit and loss. What is the sales price, cost price, profit which is there? What is profit and what is the profit percentage? What is the loss? What is the loss percentage? And then there is one other thing called marked price and discount. It's okay when I'm saying these are all concepts, guys. Frankly, it is only one idea, one basic idea. But put it in a different way so that you kind of relate to when the questions come in your exam paper. Once again, another 30-40 questions of the previous year's questions from this area will kind of make you very much ready for this exam. Simple interest, compound interest. Frankly, actually it has only 3. Simple interest, compound interest, and similarity between simple interest and compound interest. So for the first year, both are same. When it becomes second year and third year and fourth year, the compounding changes the interest that you get, whereas in simple interest, you get the constant interest. The difference in the interest will change the difference in the amount that you get at the end of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever the number may be. That is all. And all questions that have come in the last 30 years of CAT have been only on a variation of these 3 questions. I have also written, as you can see on screen, equity or annuity or equal installments, but never has come really in the CAT exam. Maybe a very, very long way back it might have. Then look at the other areas like averages, mixtures, allegations kind of things. What is there in that? Average is the total sum of all the numbers by the number of numbers. Average is equal to sum by numbers. Then if there is an AP, the middle term is the average. What is deviation method? Understanding deviation method, therefore you will understand the weighted average. And more importantly, the allegation rule. If you are mixing 2 quantities, let's say a quantity 1 which is of price something 1 with quantity 2 with another price 2, if you're mixing it together and you're selling the full quantity, will the price be same as a P1 or P2? No, it will be some other average price called P. 5 concepts and 50 questions you solve in 2.5 hours. You can easily solve. Please understand that 3 minutes, 4 minutes you can give for each of the questions. Remember, 22 questions, 40 minutes, you don't have to solve all of them in the actual CAT paper. So when you're preparing also, I would say maybe give about 3 to 4 minutes. If you don't solve the question, what do? You go back, see the solution. After seeing the solution, I have only one request to make for your own good, and that is close the solution and redo the question again. Then look at time and work. Time and work has the unitary work concept. It's not really required, but people look at it. You know, Abe can do a piece of work in 10 days. So in 1 day, how much can he do? 1/10 of the work. But there is something else which comes in as the man days concept. How many man days it does take to finish a work. So a simple formula like number of man working for some number of days is M1 into D1. That is man days. Some other number of men doing the same number of work in some other number of days, M2, D2, same work. These have to be equal. So converting all the work into man days so that you assume that there is a total units of work is the fastest way of doing time and work problems. Unfortunately, when you did it in school in 8th class, you were never taught this area. You're always taught unitary work concept. But that is where a little bit of a practice can help you to do these questions faster. Then there are 3 other things like alternate work or efficiencies and wages and negative work. Negative work especially in pipes and cisterns. So when you are building let's say a brick wall or you're digging a well kind of things, what you're doing is positive work. But there are questions which come in which says that okay, there is a tank, there are 2 pipes which are filling it, and there is one leak which is there which is taking out the water from the tank. When the pipes are filling, that is called positive work, and if there is a leak and it is taking it out, the water from the tank, it is a negative work. So there are concepts based on that. Once again, there is only, while I'm giving you 5 concepts, to be very honest with you, there is one thing. What are the total units of work? So if pipes are filling it, there are certain units they are filling every minute or every hour, whatever the unit that you can take it. Every minute, let's say so many units are poured by, let's say, pipe A, pipe B, and there is a pipe C which is taking out so many units. Everything is an addition concept. Time and work, once again I'm coming back here, is very, very important. If you look at CAT 23, CAT 22, CAT 21, CAT 20 or whatever the CAT papers you look at, every slot 1, 2, 3 doesn't matter, there are almost always 2 questions in this particular area. So you have to be very good in that without fail. And there is genuinely just one concept, but I'm saying again 2.5 hours, do about 30-40 questions. I think you will be very, very good at that. And the last one, you know, when it comes to time, speed and distance, people are very afraid. In fact, every time I've gone to any class ever across the country, whether it is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, Bombay, it doesn't matter, or Ludhiana or Timbuktu for that matter, everybody has this problem with time, speed and distance. But genuinely, friends, it is one single concept. Distance is equal to speed into time. Right? Speed, therefore, is distance by time. Kilometers per hour, meters per second. Now, it looks so obvious saying that, yaar, aap bolne ke liye to easy hai. Is it easy to say for me, standing here for you? But here is what I'm saying. Look at the previous year's questions of this particular area. You will see that the same concept is being utilized many number of times. Solve them, it becomes easy. And there are other related concepts within the same idea called what is an average speed, what's a relative speed. Within relative speed, there are things like, you know, on normal surfaces like cars are racing or trains are racing with each other. That's the relative speed between cars and the trains. Or there are boats and streams, or for that matter, escalators, or clocks for that matter. Clock, there was one question in CAT 2023 in one of the slots, I think slot 1 if I'm not wrong. But clocks has not really come in for the last 7 years. Then It's the same concept called a relative speed concept. And the last concept is races. Races both on the linear races and or the circular races. Circular races has been more often than not coming in the CAT exam, so you need to be good in that. There are, again, within circular races, there are 2 formulae that you need to really remember that. Do this 7 areas. If you remember what I have put already, percentages I have put it along with profit and loss. That makes it completely 7 topics. 15 hours of serious work with solving about 10 questions in every half an hour. 15 hours of work, you can do it. And these questions that you should do either from the mocks or from the previous year's questions. We at Careers 360 are coming out with 20 mock CATs only for you. Free, you can download them and utilize all the ideas that I'm giving you to make sure that your preparation is better. We have also compiled quantitative aptitude questions chapter-wise with the answers in a PDF form for CAT exams. You can download it for free. More importantly, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Many more videos on strategy, mistakes to avoid, study plan, and related videos to CAT are there for the asking. In the screen, you will also find there are links to the 5 mistakes to avoid when you are writing your CAT exam. Do ensure that you make the best out of whatever we are giving you from Careers 360. Until the next video, thank you and wish you all the best.